I guess I'm jumping on right after the State of the Union in a somewhat lubricated state, just for the sake of posting. And, you know, good speech. I don't know. I mean, I was pretty lubricated. Uh, and so this is a lubricated take. So I watched one of these streamers that was streaming the speech, and they have the chat, and so I got to chat because all the other chats you couldn't chat during it, right? Obviously, I have nobody here to be bitching about the thing with, so I chat. And so I watched one of the streamers, and then I also had some Grateful Dead playing, so that was nice. I think it started with Terrapin Station, and then some Eyes of the World, I think it was. Pretty lubricated. And then it was Sugary. They did Sugary during like this stuff about immigrants. It's kind of weird. Bittersweet, maybe. And then like Fire on the Mountain, or Scarlet Begonias and Fire on the Mountain, uh, for the stuff near closer to the end, where and then it went to Not Fade Away for the ending. I think the Eyes of the World was really long. I'm like, is this Eyes of the World still going? It's like, yeah, it was a really long Eyes. I need to go back and look at the history on that. I think it was a good one too. But so I was not like fully there while watching the thing. So, I was kind of having a kind of like a sense impression of it more than really looking at the content. Um, it felt like okay, like it felt fun. It felt very American. I this is the thing about Trump. They call him a fascist. He feels American. He really does feel pretty American. And the thing about Ukraine that's kind of worrying is that we're ceding Europe to Russia, by which we mean we're ceding Europe to Germany, which nobody should want to do that. That's not a wise course of action. But oh no, the is back. I apologize. I really liked the feel, the feel of the vibe, the feel of the vibe. Jesus So he does this speech like the day after he gets really serious about tariffs. And so, timing wise, it feels like okay, you have the stock market tanking, and you have people kind of freaking out. Folks are looking at like I looked at my student loans the other day. I'm like, oh god, this is going to be so bad, right? Like I personally, like I'm not a supporter. Like the student loan thing is going to hurt me. It's going to hurt me. Like I don't know what's going to happen with it, but it's not going to be good, right? It could be very bad, and but now he has this speech, and it's like, hey, shit's on track. It definitely feels like he knows what's going on. He at least projected the appearance of knowing what's going on, having command of the situation. You have Zelensky coming back and, playing nice, right? So they get that out earlier in the week or last week, and then they have the weekend to work through it. And then you start to have some people talking nice today. So you can go into the speech saying people are talking nice. And he doesn't talk about China much, apparently, which is that should scare China. And China should be scared. and they should be scared. But just having the stock market go down and then having Trump come back and say, like, we're doing this shit, right? And just for the first time in however long, a president's doing what he said, right? Because Green New Deal, okay, I like subsidies for electric vehicles. But where did the money go? They had these chargers. I never saw one of these fucking chargers. There's chargers around that somebody put down somewhere. There's some of them, and Elon has his chargers. But all these chargers that they were supposedly building, they never... It's like, Transformers were a shortage. Like, come on! You can't can't get Transformers? Go get on DigiKey. What the fuck? Right? So they're pulling it back, right? They're ending the contract, and the Democrats say, oh, this is fascism. It's like, okay, a lot of people have government jobs. You having a government job in a country that's a democracy doesn't mean that you are the democracy, and that when you get fired, it's no longer democracy. That's not how it is, right? There's a lot of regimes with a lot of people working for them, and it's not the end of democracy. It's not the end of democracy when you get fired. It's just not, okay? And it's the guy. He's the firing guy. People didn't like the government, so they elected this guy. His whole thing was like, you're fired, you're fired, you're fired. He's going around firing people. And then the Democrats are like, you can't fire people. It's this fascism. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? That was the whole thing, Anyway. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how that went. There was a little bit of a. I'm so new at this recording thing. I promoted my videos a little bit. It's interesting. Somebody followed me who actually posts videos. It's like, oh, hi. I should follow them back. Hi. So I think one of the main things that I have to take away from the speech was like, fuck fascists and fuck communists, right? Like, this is America. Trump didn't call himself a liberal. He didn't call himself a conservative. But he said that we beat the fascists and we beat the communists, okay? So, I don't know what's left after you do those, but as long as we're centered around beating the communists, beating the fascists, and then we're doing our own thing, I think that's good, right? And I should actually study more about international trade, but look, labor arbitrage is a thing, right? So there's factor price equalization, and you get wages driven down. Wages go down when you start trading if the countries you're trading with have lower wages than you. If you're trading with countries with higher wages than you, then your wages might go up, and the other people's wages might go down. And we have a very high wage society, so it's hard for us to trade with people and not have wages go down. It is pretty simple. And the way what tariffs do is they penalize the price, right? It's the price of the shit you're importing. So if you have value add steps, like the very high value add steps, you want to do them here. It's not an economically illiterate policy. And, the United States, for a lot of the early part of the Republic, did do very well. I mean, Latin America did import subsidized substituting industrialization policy, ISI. Let me try that again. Import substituting Oh, fuck. I apologize. I'll do economics some other time. Today I will talk about America. I barely even remember what the fuck the guy talked about. There was a guy with a cane, he got walked out. There were some people with the things saying liars. Like, okay, the Ukraine shit's been fucking savage. I have no idea how that's going to work out. But, it's, yeah. That's, it's not... And the Ukraine thing did give a pall of like, oh, hey, remember Russia shit? It's like, why is he so... And I understand wanting to break with Europe. Europe were the cool kids. European culture and American culture, I think, are pretty different. America, we're more of a Scottish Enlightenment country. The anglosphere has a particular kind of culture that's a little different from, so like Locke is different from Rousseau and Kant, especially Kant. Rousseau would talk about the general will. And we don't in the anglosphere tend to think about ourselves as having this general will that's like, a superorganism that the body politic generates by its political action, that you need to start tending to the superorganism. We want to keep it human, right? None of the superorganism shit. And so, and then the Germans get even worse. And then it's not even a superorganism. Then it's like this fucking like revolution of the ideals and all this stuff. So I really should study that more. But we like to have kind of a bit more of a skeptical basis for the way we approach the world. We like to have a bit more human-centered way we approach the world, a bit more pragmatic way we approach the world. Europeans tend to get like flighty notions, is the way I would characterize it. And the way that the European folks have been influencing our folks in the post-war era has been pretty negative for us, right? So, for example, John Rawls was neo-Kantian, okay? And you can see it, it's not democratic, right? Rawls isn't... He supports democracy. Like, how could he not support democracy? But his actual, he supports democracy because it's the outcome of this brain genius thought experiment, right? So this is the thing with Rawls. It's a thought experiment, right? You take the original position, go behind the veil of ignorance, and then you discover the truth of justice. You get the true justice. The true justice. And it's just you in your fucking faculty office. Okay? And where's the democracy in that? This is the thing. This is part of the reason, in my opinion, why the country has gone the direction it has. Because a neo-Kantian approach to liberalism leads to the kind of progressivism that leads to Trump. Okay. So that's a golden thought nugget for you all to masticate. But, while we're being anglosphere about things, the anglosphere grand strategy is definitely keep the bear in the cage, right? And, keep the Hun secondary, make sure the Hun stays secondary and the bear stays in the cage. What you really don't want, right, this is why Israel's important. You want to keep all this, the Mongol hordes or whatever the fuck bottled up in that Eurasian heartland. That's the whole idea. That's why Taiwan and Israel and Korea and like all this fucking shit, right? You're trying to like box in this like giant swarthy, civilization destroying, horde of Oriental meanness and tyranny. You want to keep that contained in Eurasia. And so that's why, from an anglosphere perspective, Ukraine's important, right? Like, And the thing is, okay, hey, but guys, Europe, hey, you got the bear on your lawn, and you're like, oh yeah, the guy down the street will take care of it. So hopefully they'll do something. I have no idea. And the vibes are iffy on the Ukraine thing. But hopefully we can get to like, bear in the cage, right? Bear nicely contained, and the Huns are not like saying like, oh, I'll partner up with the Bears and we'll have a little like bear fiasco and Molotov-Ribbentrop stuff, and we can keep a lot of this ugliness from reoccurring. Hopefully, right? Oh, what else? Yeah, fuck fascists. I do worry that part of what the teal part of the equation is kind of driving towards is this reestablishment of a revanchist Germany, allowing Germany to kind of become the hegemon in the European heartland. It's like no, we'll have a balance of power politics in Europe. It'll be great. Yeah, so there's a lot of concerns. Who knows? I just think that I'll be surprised and interested if and when they can actually pass a budget. It's like, nice speech. Where's the budget? Okay. I think that's a good note to end on. All right.